The last and sort of third strand of what GALBA have been doing has resulted from the previous government's announcement of what they call their Jet Zero strategy. Now, all airports, when they try and expand, they do that really in the knowledge that government are supportive of airport expansion. And along with that is this notion of SAFs, or sustainable aviation fuels. I won't go into it, but as a committee, we've had to really try and gen up on all these different aspects of flying, electric flights, hydrogen-powered aeroplanes. None of this is going to result in net zero. And electric flights, just as very briefly to get that out of the way, will never be able to cross the Atlantic in an electric plane because batteries are way too heavy. And so the difference between jet fuel and batteries in terms of weight per unit of energy, 30 times the weight if you use batteries. And it's simply not feasible. So when the Jet Zero policy was announced in 2023, by then GALBA had already was already sort of had close links with pretty much all the airport, the anti-airport expansion campaigns around the country, and there was a strong feeling that the Jet Zero policy should be challenged through the courts. That's the only way of doing it, challenging it through the courts. And we kind of put ourselves forward to do this. The Jet Zero judicial review took place at the beginning of April this year. I was there for the whole of it, sat in the Royal Courts of Justice. And it was a weird experience. It was basically a room full of lawyers. The solution that they didn't mention anywhere in the consultation was demand management. So, one way of reaching net zero is to look at how you can restrict demand for air travel. That didn't make any difference because when the consultation was sent out, they had tons of replies saying, "What about demand management? What about demand management?" So, but they weren't having any of it. And we were quite hopeful. And 8 days later, we heard the judge had sided with the government. So the judicial review was rejected. And we're now at the point of deciding whether or not we take it further to the appeal court. Now, our barrister says we have a better than 50-50 chance, having read what the judge has put, of winning that. But first of all, you have to apply via various routes to see whether you can take it further. And the first stage of applying is to the High Court, where we've just heard. And what do you know? The same judge heard our application to challenge her view, and she did not consent to it being taken any further. So then the next stage is to appeal directly, to fill in loads of forms, appeal directly to the Court of Appeal, and it costs money and all sorts of stuff. But that's where we're at now, and we're today at lunchtime we sent off the application for to the Court of Appeal with various grounds that we're challenging around the decisions that the High Court judge made. So just to sort of finish off with, we've mainly done local stuff, but we've also done this one sort of national piece of work. And so why do we sort of get, why have we got mixed up with doing this national piece of work? And I guess for me, I think one of the most important functions of a government is to ensure that their population is safe. And for them to do that, they have to take climate change seriously and the climate emergency seriously, and they have to act accordingly. And using air travel as a specific, point at which we can try and kick up a fuss is, I think, a really excellent way, because the other thing is air travel at the moment, is between 8 and 10% of all carbon emissions from the UK, and in 15 years, if all goes well, with all the other reductions, air travel will be nearer 40% of all the emissions, and that just can't, it's just untenable. So if the government are going to be serious about keeping us all safe, they need to do the right thing, and they need to do it now. And that's why we fundraise to challenge the Jet Zero decision.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you.